There we go. It's time for the League Lowdown! All right, so before we get started, shout out to the Suburban One League member schools playing in a state title this weekend.
We've got CBWest girls field hockey playing against Emmaus in the 3A state title. And the 4A state title is a CB Fun Fest, I guess. You got CB East versus CB South.
It's going to be crazy. And then 4A boys soccer, we have Abington facing off against Westchester Henderson. Man, all right, that means we're going to have a lot of fireworks this weekend. And speaking of weekends, I'm your host, Coach Mayhem, always joined by my partner in crime, the one, the only, SOI's OG. What's going on, OG?
How are you, buddy? Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. So we definitely had another high energy week of playoff football across the district. 4 teams punched their tickets to the Class A6 finals, and 3 coming out of the Suburban One League.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Let's get things kicked off with Neshaminy, who kept their postseason magic rolling with a statement win over O&J Roberts, 49-21.
Man, OJR jumped out to a 14-0 lead, but Nick Fellis' team refused to blink, man. From that point on, the Skins unleashed 42 unanswered points, 5 touchdowns, drives, 5 plays or fewer. Their senior quarterback that I've been throwing numbers at you all year, Mike Eckert, kid was on fire. He went 11 of 14 for 223 yards and 3 scores. While that stud running back, Carter Klee, was electric on the ground. 10 carries, 165 yards, and three touchdowns. It just wasn't a win, man. It was redemption. After O&JR ended their season last year, Neshaminy dominantly flipped the script.
All right, next up, top-seeded Pennridge Rams, who leaned on their smothering defense and a ground and pound attack to take down Downingtown East 21-9.
Man, the Rams absolutely controlled the tempo, running 37 offensive plays to East 9 in the second half. Now, I know you were there, man, but this defense, it was lights out, holding the Cougars to just 84 total yards and 20 rushing yards on 19 carries. Star back, Jules Tyrone Robinson, he came in with nearly 1,900 yards on the year. The Rams defense bottled this kid up for just 31 yards. What? Offensively, Noah Keating, he was steady. Completed 12 of 17 passes. Numbers don't jump out. It was only for 85 yards, but he still completed 12 of 17. So, While Will Doherty and Ryan Rowe combined for 120 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. It's basically textbook November football. Physical, patient, perfectly executed.
All right, how about Coatesville? The Red Raiders made sure everyone remembered why they're one of the most consistent programs in the district, grinding out a 14-0 shutout over Council Rock South.
Yeah, man, this was definitely a defensive clinic. Andre Watson carried the load for those Raiders. He had 141 yards and 2 touchdowns, while QB Matt Ortega Jr. Added 138-yard passings on 16 tosses. But the story really of that game, man, was the Red Raider defense. They gave up just 41 total yards in the second half and only 2 first downs. That is right now, as if you go back, that's 17 total points allowed in their last 3 games. Just earned them a semifinal berth since the first time since 2021. So this week they'll meet the top seed Pennridge Rams in what's shaping up to be a heavyweight slugfest.
All right, and your game of the week, North Penn versus Souderton, a rivalry with plenty of heat and history.
Man, this one had it all the makings early. At halftime, North Penn led by just 17-14. They had a 3-point lead in Souderton. They were right there. But after the break, the Knights hit the gear, scoring 26 unanswered points to win 43-14. Yep, got that second half goose egg. Riley Gray, sophomore, absolutely sensational. That kid had 200 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, and my favorite, 31-yard halfback toss to none other than Matt Pownall. He found the end zone 4 times. This kid is just on fire. He had the receiving touchdown plus 3 rushing scores, and just, man, he was shutting down the run, forcing multiple punts on the other side of the ball as well. Coach Dick Beck, man, he definitely lit a fire in that locker room. His team responded. That's 7 straight wins, as we pointed out earlier, for North Penn, who's now hosting Neshaminy in a semifinal that I'm feeling this is going to be one of those instant classics.
All right, and the other semifinal is Pennridge versus Coatesville. 2 power programs built on toughness and pride. One of them will punch their ticket to the 6A to District 1 title game.
Yeah, man. Four teams left, 2 massive matchups, and we'll have coverage on that for next week when the dust settles. So right here on the League Lowdown.
All right, Coach, I'm calling timeout right here. We've got more coming your way, but first, let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsors.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, CDS Wealth Management. Growing generational wealth through college and retirement planning shouldn't be complicated. At CDS Wealth Management, rest assured that you are more than a client. You are a foundation for a legacy to be built upon. Allow our team to cater to your family's legacy by starting with a free consultation at www.cdswealth.com.
All right, welcome back to the League Lowdown. I'm OG, and we're coming out of the break with a very, very special guest, a man whose voice is known throughout high school sports in many parts of the state of Pennsylvania. He's been a 45-year broadcasting veteran, local sports historian, and since 2021, the unmistakable voice of the Coatesville Red Raiders. From York to Harrisburg, Carlisle to Delco, he's called it all. Please welcome Dave Berman, the voice of Delco himself. How are you tonight, Dave?
All right, thank you very much. I'm probably a little nervous doing it. First ever Suburban One League show I've done, but this is great. You guys are doing it.
Yeah, we'll teach you the ropes. Us Suburban One guys figuring this out as we go too. But thanks for joining us. Your story has been absolutely fantastic. Getting to know you and watching your Facebook and social media presence over the last couple of years has been fantastic. You started calling games in the early '80s. You went to York College out there in York, PA, and then Nether Providence High School, which is now Strathaven, class of 1976. Sorry, I almost aged you 250 years. 1776. That's 45 years in the business. What's kept you passionate about high school sports all these years?
Well, I grew up in a sports area here in Delaware County, growing up half Chester, half Wallingford, Chester basketball, legendary, all the championships. Just growing up, my mom and dad went to Chester High also. So just getting involved in that. My family, actually, my dad was a pharmacist. My mom her and her family ran a convenience store in Chester. My dad started the pharmacy. 2 younger brothers wanted to get involved with pharmaceutical business. I wanted to be the next Gene Hart. Pretty much. I grew up Gene Hart. I'm a little bit older than you guys. By some, and you had Bill Campbell, guys like that, Andy Musser, back in the day. So it was I just wanted to be a radio announcer. My dad thought I was crazy because I knew you don't make much money in it. And then after 76, I went, graduated 76 and went to York College. Then WSBA York, which was a big sports station back then, and just got into it and kept it going. And I love the small, the hometown feel of sports. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, you were down in Virginia as well, and now you're back in Southeastern PA. But Coatesville seems to have a special place in your heart. You've been watching those Red Raiders for a long time, and you've been doing their PA announcing since, I think you said 2021.
Yes.
What drew you to Coatesville?
Well, actually, following growing up Chester, we had some incredible battles with Coatesville over the years and going way, way back. So we're limited with time. I could go on and on. But when I moved back to the area in 2015, I already got the Chester High football job as public address announcer, and a few other. We did a network, DelcoHoops.com, did some play-by-play, including a bunch of, announced a bunch of games, Delco teams versus a Suburban 1 league. Chuck Moore, ran into him in a game. Chuck played at Plymouth Whitemarsh, won a state championship on the 97 team. He was coaching Coatesville at the time. I was doing a tournament PA at Chester High. Comes up to me, hey, we need a PA announcer. How many games, can you do our games? I said, well, I'm already tied up with other events, but I ended up doing some basketball for them, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 3-4 games a year, a lot of playoff games there. Also, Coatesville hosts a lot of playoff games, football and basketball state tournament games. And in 2020, they had a little network because people were limited to go to the games, and then I ended up doing some games on their TV network in 2020 and had a blast doing that. Scott Kershey was the PA guy for about 35 years before that, and he announced during the last Coatesville home game that year that he was retiring. And then Brian Schenger, the athletic director from Coatesville, was in Dave Berman. He called me Dave Berman. Dave, would you be interested in being our PA announcer next year? And there it was. So I've been doing the 2021. But yeah, so that's making a long story short.
Yeah. So you've seen them, football for the last at least 4 years. How does this team down at Coatesville compare to the ones you've seen before?
Yeah, this is definitely over the last 5 years the most athletic team. And let's see, 4 years ago they did go to the District 1 6A championship, and they got beat up pretty good by Garnet Valley. Then Garnet Valley had to play St. Joe's Prep in the state semifinals 6A. And you know how that usually turns out when you play St. Joe's Prep, especially our District 1 teams. But this team reminds me of that team, 2021 had some Coatesville's had some unbelievable teams over the years. Went to the state finals in 2012. It was a good old Coatesville versus West. It was the North Allegheny. It was the good old days, public versus public. And that Coatesville team was loaded, but North Allegheny was extra loaded. And North Allegheny beat them up pretty good in that state championship game. But yeah, they're right up there, Scott. They had a bump in the road. We'll talk about that with Buggy Ortega, Matt's youngest son, the head coach, Matt Ortega. His youngest son was hurt, missed a couple games. They were shut out back-to-back, shocked the whole state, Downingtown East and West. But then he got a good win against Shanahan to close out the regular season. And then they're just playing on a high level right now.
So last week they beat Council Rock South, Suburban 1 team, 14-0. Was it classic Coatesville football, or were they still limping through a little bit with the injured quarterback?
No, I played very, very well. Council Rock South, very good. I love that coach, Sidlick.
Yep.
And his son, he got banged up a little bit in that game, but he's a beast. They had some tough kids, man.
Yeah.
Coatesville played well. Referees did a great job, calling, limited penalties in the game. And Coatesville just found a way against a really tough team.
Yeah, so in the last, I think, 3 games, they've only given up 17 points. Their defense is playing pretty well. What's been the key to that late season surge?
They're just big and strong on defense. They're fast on defense. They have Terry Wiggins, number 10. Terry's a Penn State recruit. You'll be seeing him on Friday night. They have 2 Division I linemen. Max Hiller, 77. He's a game changer. He's was in Alabama last week he was in Alabama on a recruiting trip. They have a CJ Miller is another young man they have as a lineman. They just and they're quick and they're fast and they're big and they're well coached by Matt Ortega. Matt's in his 17th year with the Red Raiders, 157 wins, 44 losses.
It's a heck of a nice record.
Originally from the Harrisburg area, Steel High and Central Dauphin, Matt is.
Oh, really? Steel High guy.
He's got a lot of connections.
Another great program.
Oh, yes.
So tell me about this team in 3 words. I'm going to be going to the game. A lot of our insider followers are going to be going to this game. 3 words that describe Coatesville.
athletic, very physical, and very focused.
It's good. I thought you were going to say fast,
Yeah, well,
but focused.
they got some
Focus is good.
They got some young guys. Andre Watson, number 11, sophomore, over 1,000 yards already. So keep an eye on him. Sage Bradshaw. I can run down the list. They have athletes all over the place, and they have a great kicking game. Number 38 is Logan Bernardo. That's a major weapon right there.
You think if Buggy didn't get hurt, they were going undefeated?
Tough to say because Downingtown East and West always a battle between those games. And, I was looking at, most likely, I would say 9-1, but they, and then both of those teams are out. And Pennridge, I mean, what more can you say? What a over the years, a great sports school you have up there.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success in a lot of different things. And, don't forget our bowling team.
Bowling team.
Bowling team is very talented. Yes.
Girls soccer won the state last year or the year before?
2 years ago, 2023. They also won it in 2020. So they have two stars on their jerseys. We've had state championship 100-meter hurdler who's a junior at Princeton right now. Phenomenal kid, ran a 10.5.9 at a meet, and then won the state championship out in Shippensburg. But yeah, we've had
in our state, it is so hard to win a team state championship, an individual state championship. We've got to be athletically top 5 in the country with all states combining all the sports.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Pennsylvania is not only is it a rich athletic state, but when you look at the state numbers of how many athletes there are in the state of Pennsylvania, the numbers are so disproportionate to other states our size. We have so many kids in the state of Pennsylvania that are going out for their teams and playing a PIAA sport. It's fantastic. And, when you go drive past any park on a Saturday and see the soccer and the softball and the baseball, that everybody's out there trying to do their very, very best.
So, my wife, she was born in Abington, the hospital, and she grew up in a little town of Telford near you guys.
We actually have some Pennridge kids that live in Telford. Part of Telford is a Pennridge school district area. It just depends on what side of County Line Road over there. Most of it's Souderton School District, but Telford is very, very close to us.
Your coach has a lot of Lehigh Valley connections, right?
Yeah. He went to Deerfield High School in Allentown. Coach was a head coach there for about 7 years. Coach at Whitehall, Becca. But he did go to Del Val University in Doylestown. So he's got a little Bucks County roots in him. And we're lucky to have him. He's doing a fantastic job. People were a little upset the last couple of years, that we had only 7 wins in the previous 2 years. And we kept saying, listen, a good, strong program isn't built in year 1 and year 2. It's built in year 3, year 4, and year 5, and then from there. And he is doing fantastic things. We took some lumps the last 2 years because he was playing a lot of sophomores and juniors over some of the seniors, but he knew what he was doing to build this program. And to be 11-1 at this point, we're extremely excited for the whole community. We had a big crowd last Friday night. I would imagine we'll have a big crowd as long as it doesn't drop into the 30s on Friday night. We'll be good. So
Coatesville, rabid basketball and football following. It's a steel town.
Yeah.
Kind of rare in Southeastern PA, but they have that Western PA feel. I don't know if you've ever actually gone into a game at Coatesville.
I actually coached at Coatesville in 2001 football in a preseason scrimmage, CB West at Coatesville on a Saturday morning. And I'll just say it this way. We were glad that the heavens opened and started thundering and lightning because the Red Raiders were running all over us in those first couple sets of plays.
That goes back a long way. And it's like you go off of, I think it's Route 30 down, and they go down into the town. It just has that Western PA feel. Yeah. And there's a lot of a lot of people live there are originally from the Pittsburgh area. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Well, Dave, I want to say thank you for joining us, being part of the league lowdown. We're going to do our best in the Suburban One League to be gentle to the Red Raiders as they travel. It'll take about an hour and a half to get up to Percy, but right now we're going to take a short break with a message and come back to Coach Mayhem as he's going to sit down with North Penn's head coach Dick Beck and break down the semifinal matchup between Neshaminy and North Penn. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
CDS Wealth Management is a proud sponsor of the League Lowdown.
Welcome back to the League Lowdown. I'm Coach Mayhem, and North Penn is heading into a huge semifinal matchup with Neshaminy. Two programs with deep history, proud fan bases, and a trip to the district final on the line. I'm here with legendary head coach Dick Beck, who's in his 24th season, and one of his players, Jack Silvers, to talk about their mindset heading into Friday night's game. Welcome, Coach, and Jack, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Coach, it's semifinals week, one step away from the district final where you guys were last year. What's the message you're sending to the team heading into the matchup this week versus Neshaminy?
I mean, I guess it's just stay focused. People want to say it's a revenge game. I mean, every game's different. I feel like we were a different team, and that was so long ago. And I'm sure Neshaminy is a different team, and that was so long ago for them. So, we're just excited for the opportunity to be this deep in the playoffs and to be still playing.
Absolutely. I can feel you on that one. And that was actually going to be my next question. You saw Neshaminy earlier this season, close game. What did that game teach you as a coach and maybe your squad? And as you said, since that time, and we know the game right after that, the Pennridge game, you guys haven't lost. So what's different now versus back then, the first time you guys met?
I'm not sure. I think we've kind of found ourselves a little bit more defensively than we were at that time of the year. In the first game, Jack had an injury and didn't have an opportunity to play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to have him back. He's one of our best players and a fantastic D lineman, and he's very disruptive. So we're hoping he can be a little bit of a factor. But I'll tell you, I've watched their quarterback, and throughout the year, he's gotten better and better each game. The kid is so dangerous. He hurts you in so many ways, not just throwing the ball, but running the ball, putting them in the right play, carrying out fakes, his ball handling skills. I'll tell you, he's very impressive.
Yeah, very accurate. 70% completion rate. Reminds me of a former North Penn quarterback, Ryan Zelt, a few years ago, who is absolutely great in the completion department. He's very accurate. So, yes, I understand what you're saying there. This actually works perfectly. Every North Penn team that you've had seems to take on its own identity, Coach. What makes this group stand out to you?
Well, I would hope our balance on offense, not just being running and passing, but being able to, turn the corner, run at people, run counters, with the two running backs, Riley and Matt Pinal. Their statistics are incredibly the same. I think they're within 5 yards of each other rushing the ball. I think, when it comes to, touchdowns and carries, they're very close. And they've been good for each other. And as we've gone throughout the year, I thought our O-line has really meshed. Our identity probably is, up front, offensive line, defensive line. Our secondary is a veteran group. So, they've had a pretty good year. We've had some young linebackers, and we, maybe had some struggles earlier, but, they've all come into their own by this time.
Amazing. All right. So, Jack,
Mm-hmm.
you're one of the leaders on the team. How do you keep everyone locked in and calm when the pressure's so high in this playoff time?
I mean, yeah, it's late in the season, so I know a lot of people, they might think this game means more than all the others, but we're just trying to go 1 week at a time. Focus on the Neshaminy, nothing else. Just going 1 week at a time, really.
All right. I like it. So what's the vibe like in that locker room uh before kickoff? Yeah.
I mean, especially for a game like this, we lost the first time. We got a lot on our minds, but I mean, we don't want to push the message of revenge, but I mean, we really want to get back to where we were, especially last year. So yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Coach, when you think about Friday night, what area do you think is going to decide this one between, the line of scrimmage, turnovers, tempo?
I think usually it's turnovers. I think in the first game we turned the ball over, deep in their territory, which was very costly to us. We had a couple penalties driving into the red zone that hurt us also. A lot of times this time of the year, it's turnovers and penalties that really could really change the game.
Awesome. Speaking of, Jack, every playoff game, just like Coach said, seems to be, one turn on a big moment, a stop, a drive, a turnover. What kind of moment do you want this team to create?
Honestly, all I'm focused about right now is just winning the game. I know it's not going to be perfect, but we got to try to play mistake-free football and just play our game.
Great, great. Coach, you guys are playing North Penn. Neshaminy always draws a crowd. You're at home. How much does that energy from the fans matter once ball's kicked off?
I mean, I think it's more pregame than anything else. And it's always helpful when with the crowd noise and they're on offense could be disruptive to their snap count and stuff. Our guys like playing at home because we get an extra hour to prepare. We can kind of relax before the game. We're not rushing on the turnpike, sitting in traffic on the big yellow bus. So our kids, we get a bite to eat, kind of go through walkthroughs, and we give ourselves about an hour and a half to kind of get ready and head on out and get warmed up.
Nice. And what about you, Jack? For you, what about that atmosphere?
I mean, it's great. Like, I've just thought about it. I'm pretty sure we haven't lost a home game since our sophomore year. So, I mean, I just love playing in front of my friends. That whole student section has been great, the turnout. So, yeah, I'm really excited to get to play in front of them for a big game like this.
Okay. And Coach, what's something about Jack that you rely on every week that you can count on?
Well, I would say Jack's very solid at playing his gap. He's the hardest thing as a D lineman is we call it fight pressure. When you're getting blocked one way, that you want to go where the lineman doesn't want you to go. So when you feel where the ball is going by the way the lineman's blocking, he does an outstanding job separating from the offensive lineman, crossing his face and getting to the play. They don't usually run into his hole because he usually is clogged up. He's, a bit of a, fire plug. He's only about 5'11", but he's probably, I don't want to say he's 260, but he's getting close to it. And, Jack's as strong as anybody we've ever had.
Excellent. And Jack, what's something about Coach Beck's style that kind of fires you up and the team up?
I mean, I just love his energy. Like, I've never felt more prepared with a coach. Like, every week, just in the film room, like, I've just never seen someone break down film as well as him. So, I mean, yeah, he just brings the energy. I always feel prepared. So, yeah.
All right. All right. And Coach, everyone's talking about Pennridge Coatesville game on the other side of the bracket and jumping ahead kind of. I know I've been caught doing it multiple times going, give me Pennridge, North Penn 2.0. How do you keep the guys from looking ahead this week?
I bet you they don't even know who's playing on the other side. We are majorly focused on the Neshaminy. I don't care what's going on in the other game. Won't be a factor to us. We're just trying to win Friday night. That's it.
Beautiful. I love it. I love that. All right. So Coach, this question's for both of you, but Coach Beck, for you first. Since you talked about it, you're locked in on Neshaminy. For us to beat Neshaminy and reach the district final, what do you got to do?
I think we got to run the ball with consistency. We got to get an explosive player too, not turn it over, and not give them any freebies. If they're going to drive down the field. I always tell our guys, they want to go 14 plays and drive down the field and they can score, they're going to earn it. We don't want to give them one play drives. We don't want to give up any explosive plays, keep them in front of us. I just hope our guys play, which I know they will, much tougher than we played the first game.
Absolutely. Jack, same question for you, but for you guys to beat Neshaminy and reach the district final, what do you got to do?
I think it's going to all come down to defense. I mean, our offense is great. I know they're going to do our thing. Last time, I would say, I think they got the better end of us, especially on defense. But I think this time around, we're a completely different defense. We got new guys, new schemes, everything. I mean, the Neshaminy, they're such a great offense. They're great up front. Their quarterback, their running back, both really tough. So, I mean, I think it's just going to come down to defense, playing our gaps, playing mistake-free football.
That sounds good to me.
Absolutely, Coach. That's the answer we like to hear. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I told you it would be quick and painless. Thank you again. Good luck. I will see you guys on Friday.
All right. Thanks a lot. See you later now. Bye-bye.
That was North Penn head coach Dick Beck and Jack Silvers as the Knights get ready for Friday's District 1 6A semifinal against Neshaminy. The winner moves on to face either number 1 Pennridge or number 4 Coatesville in the district final.
Speaking of, let's break down the next round of games. The final 4 in the district, 3 of which are coming out of the SOL. Excuse me. Our first matchup is number 1 Pennridge, who's now 11-1, taking on the lone outsider from the Chestmont National, number 4 Coatesville, at 10-2. At home this Friday at the helm. The Rams offense is averaging 26 points per game through the first 12 games. Defense is yielding 13.6. Pretty steady numbers. Senior Noah Keating is having a phenomenal year. He's completed 60% of his passes for over 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns. He's also had another 303 on the ground with 11 touchdowns, one of which was last week on a heck of a scramble where he went to the corner of the end zone and just ran over a downtown East guy. Will Doherty and Ryan Rowe split carries between 116 and 113 between the two of them. Will has 672 yards and Ryan has 658. And between them, they have 13. Princeton commit Ryan Rowe has 8 of those. And the aerial attack is led by junior Sean Luthi, who's hauled in 27 balls for 471 yards and 3 TDs.
And on my side of the ball, that's right, the defensive side of the ball, the Rams are led by a sophomore. Yep, you heard that correctly. Sophomore, Blake Landher, leads the team with 94 tackles and a team leading 13.5 tackles for loss. Hey, quick note here. Landher, 6'1", 195-pound prospect. He's got great vision, shows elite tracking ability, and he's always around the ball. I mean, let's be real. He's almost a carbon copy of Ryan Rowe. I'm looking at their size. Rowe's got him maybe about 10 pounds heavier, And speaking of, he is in less one game due to his injury, has 84 tackles on the team. So between those two, that's a pretty powerful linebacker combo. I love it. A host of players have combined for 11.5 sacks. I know Nolan Warman has 2, while Chase Klontz and Rowe each have 2 interceptions on the other side of the ball. And that secondary, man, they have 9 total interceptions. So I guess you got to be careful where you're throwing the ball. And in the kicking game, senior Luis Nunez, he handles the kicking duties for the team. And so far, he's 38 of 39 on extra points and perfect 3 for 3 on field goals. And one of those field goals was from 41 yards. So he's got a foot.
All right, let's look at the other side of the ball. The Red Raiders offense is averaging 28 points a game, while the defense is allowing 14.5. And remember, in the 2 games where Ortega was out of quarterback, they got shut out, and they're still averaging over 28 points a game. These 2 teams are evenly matched on paper, but this team at Coatesville is loaded with talent. Starts up front with their number 1 5-star rated interior lineman, Max Hiller, 6'5", 300 pounds, just a little guy, who's got a lot of Division I offers, including Alabama, because as we talked about in my interview, he was just down at Alabama this weekend. On the defensive side of the ball, the Red Raiders have a standout and consensus three-star rated linebacker Terry Wiggins, who's verbally committed to Penn State. We'll see how that plays out as Penn State's looking for a new coach. Andre Watson Jr. leads the rushing attack with over 1,000 yards, 10 TDs. But Matt, as we learned, Buggy Ortega has thrown for 1,500 yards and 19 TDs. He was injured. He missed a game and a half in those two games that they got shut out, but he's back to doing what he can. I'm hearing that his mobility is not perfect. His ankle is heavily wrapped, so he's staying in the pocket and not scooting. I think that's a benefit for the Rams on defense. They don't have to chase him.
Pretty impressive numbers, and knowing that he's missed 2 games is even crazier. Hopefully, that the Rams can take advantage of a less mobile quarterback, because I know he definitely uses that to his advantage. This one is for sure going to be lights out. Moving on to the other side of the bracket, though, we have number 2 North Penn, 10-2, hosting our Cinderella story, so to speak, the number 11 Neshaminy Redskins, 9-3. For those of you that don't know or remember these two teams, this is going to be the second meeting as they met back to open up conference play in week 4. Some would call week 5. And Neshaminy won that game 18-14 at Heartbreak Ridge. Hey, they don't call it Heartbreak Ridge for nothing. All right, now we're going to fast forward. District semifinals. This time, the Redskins are traveling to Crawford Stadium. Following week, what happens? The Knights, they lose to Pennridge. All right, since then, 7 straight victories. And the Knights are coming in averaging almost 32 points per game, while the defense is yielding 14.5. Senior QB Matt Buxar, dominant. He's thrown for 1,492 yards and 13 touchdowns. He hasn't really had to throw as much because the Knights' backfield, they have a bunch of star power back there, led by senior Matt Pawnall and sophomore Riley Gray. These two, they've combined for over 1,800 yards now. Gray had 200 last week. These guys are just, lights out. Buxar's favorite target, Mason Franick, hauled in 29 catches for 449 yards so far. But they may be playing without him. More on that in a little bit.
All right, defense North Penn has been lights out. They're led by Jacob Garrett, Nate Chapayan, and Jack Silvers. And you also have to deal with Pownell and Gray in the secondary. Since week 5, when they lost to Pennridge, North Penn's just giving up 11 points a game, and they have one shutout in those 7 games. All right, next up, let's play a little pick'em. Last week we tied. We both went 3-1 on the week. We both picked Coatesville, Pennridge, and Neshaminy to win. I incorrectly picked Souderton, who picked North Penn. Sorry, you picked Downingtown East.
I did.
Yeah.
Really picked Downingtown East to upset Pennridge.
Yeah, I kind of did, but I didn't. I kind of hedged my bet there, but it is what it is. We both had a pretty good week, and we're just happy that we got 3 out of 5 teams, 3 of the 5 that played last week into this semifinal round.
Yep, sure. This week, we got a 50-50 shot. We got 2 games to pick. First one up, the one you're going to be at, Pennridge versus Coatesville. Who you got?
All right, so I am highly impressed watching film on Coatesville. Found a couple games on YouTube, watched a bunch of online huddle highlight type things. Their O-line is big and athletic. Their sophomore running back is electric. Buggy Ortega, as he gets healthier, he's going to keep their offense rolling. Pennridge's defense played lights out last week, minus the touchdown given up on the kickoff return. But Pennridge's offense has averaged 31 points for a game in the first 5 games, but it's down to 22 over the last 7. Coatesville has a Penn State linebacker commit. Hiller also plays defense, and it has a bunch of athletes all over that field. The game's going to come down to special teams. Both teams have high quality kickers that kick extra points and field goals. But much like the 2020 game where Coatesville had a kickoff return for a TD, that's where the overall advantage lies. Just like last week, my heart says Rams by 3 or less, but Coatesville has the players to make this swing in the other direction for them to go win going away. It's going to be a really, really interesting matchup. It's going to be a little chilly out there Friday night, but we're going to see if the Rams can beat the Red Raiders. We'll see. They got a long trip up here, so hopefully that bus time is going to slow them down a little bit.
Yeah, I know the hype, but they're beatable. I know this team is beatable. And I'm not doing it again. Not this time. Because I want my rematch. Game I missed out on. Pennridge versus North Penn in the championship. Hey, bold prediction here. Rams win this game in overtime.
That's not good for my heart. I can take a lot of things, but geez, overtime? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Right there with you.
Oh, gosh. All right. On the other side, in your game of the week, we got North Penn and Neshaminy. What you feeling?
All right. Yeah. Speaking of my game of the week, hey, special alert, OG. I will have photographer Michael Rice with me. As always, I will be bringing updates, live action from the game via Instagram and X, but also Michael will be having a photo gallery of the game on our website. But back to the pick'em, like you asked. I think you should know where I'm going with this one here. I'm saying North Penn gets back to
Staying there for 7 weeks
to face off against Pennridge. Though a 1 versus 11 would be cool, because I know Neshaminy is an SOL team. But I'm going true number 1 versus number 2. Let's go.
Not so fast, my friend. I wish I had a pencil like Lee Corso right now. I've been saying for the last several weeks, Neshaminy is the most complete team in the SOL. Mayhem keeps throwing crazy stats at me every week. Quarterback yardage, running back yardage, the twins on both sides of the ball. So I don't know if it's your brainwashing or what. I'm listening to you. You're the insider. But listen, North Penn has always come into the semifinals when they build up as a crescendo all year, right? Coach Beck's teams, you can see them getting better week to week to week. But this one is going to come down to the end. Kind of like the first game. I know it's at Crawford Stadium. I know there's no Heartbreak Ridge, but I think the Neshaminy is going to win by 2, but North Penn is going to give it all they got. Now, Neshaminy versus Pennridge next week, if that happens, there's going to be a lot of stress up in Percy, because that might have been, except for the loss to West, that might have been the most stressful game they've had all year. And I'm not including PW in the playoffs, because that Neshaminy game was extremely stressful. You were there. You saw it live, 14-7 game down at the Ridge. All right, but we'll see how this all plays out. All I know is we got at least 1 out of 3 teams going to the finals. All right. And then that's our state championship, because we all know you're going to play LaSalle. LaSalle's got this guy and that guy. But playing for district title is something extremely important for the SOL. So best of luck to everybody this weekend.
Absolutely. Very interesting, my friend. Very interesting on the pick. I guess you're right. The mayhem brainwashing of all my stats week in and week out. They do. They really have a lot of firepower on that offense. Mike Eckert has so many targets that I didn't even mention. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they have so many athletes. Both teams do. Tomorrow's going to be insane, insiders. That you can count on. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for this week. I want to thank personally Dave Berman, head coach Dick Beck, and his player Jack Silvers for being on the show this week. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. If you're looking to advertise on the show, or you just want to talk ball with OG and I, hit us up, Suburban One Insider at gmail.com. It's down here on the screen. All right, I'm pointing at it for you somewhere down there. All right, so good luck to all our teams this weekend, the 3 that are playing, and see what happens tomorrow night. I'm Coach Mayhem.
And I'm OG. Insiders out.